Hello everybody, welcome to a guide where I will take my furry druid, which I just finished pretty much, as the example and teach you a bit about the elemental damage in Diablo 2. Hopefully it's gonna be a pretty fast video. But yeah, let's get to it. So I have completely finished my furry druid now. Just quickly showcase the items. Now, the last thing that I need for my furry druid is small charms, and I want to talk a bit about that first of all. So, open wounds, let's cover that first. I always go with a poison small charm on any physical builds that I do, just because poison damage works like open wounds, where it stops mobs from healing. So a single, small charm that has poison damage in it, such as, let's see what it was, such as this one, will stop mobs from healing, which is great on bosses and even larger mobs that's not gonna be one shot. Another thing I also stress about is using a Ravenfrost ring, because Ravenfrost ring has cold damage. Cold damage, let's take it from the top. So we got lightning damage, which has the highest possible amount of elemental damage from weapon rolls and so forth. Then we have fire damage, which is below lightning damage, but you can say that it's a more consistent damage. So in that case, maybe you find a weapon that has 50 to 300 lightning damage, where fire would be maybe only like 50 to 200. Still, it's more consistent damage and whatnot, in that kind of an example. And then we have, oh, I should mention that now fire and lightning, they don't do anything. It's only poison and cold that's gonna do anything to the mobs besides the damage that is. So I want to start the video again off with a little example here. Now I unequipped my Ravenfrost ring. Now we will go hit this little mob here. So you saw that it didn't really happen anything, I just killed it. Now I'll go hit a little quill rat. Did you see that I came like a blue thingish around it? Let's try that again, not on a cold immune. Basically, do you notice that comes a slight blue kind of thing around the mob here? That is Ravenfrost ring that are freezing mobs. Well, not freezing, but slowing them. That is why I really want to stress always using cold damage and poison damage in your inventory or your gear. It just helps so much. Cause like fire and lightning damage, yes, they will give more damage on weapon rolls and all that stuff, but it's not gonna have an extra side effect like the other two elementals. Now, another thing I also want to cover real fast, this would be obvious for most people, but everyone knows about gems in this game, and low level characters, they always go with poison gems in like a free socket crystal sword, level 15 that rapes shit with perfect emerald gem in it, but the damage is over time. And let's take this little small charm here again. 250% poison damage, that sounds like a lot, but it's over 10 seconds. So you can clearly see that it's not gonna do much damage at all. It's really nothing great. You're much better off using a charm like, well, let's see if I have, yeah, like this one. This would be more damage and it would also give, some life. So poison small charms are just not worth it compared to these sort of things here. Now, another thing I also want to talk a bit about is if you're playing a melee character that uses abilities that are physical damage. Let's see if this one even says it's physical. No, okay, but most abilities say that they are like physical damage. So take for instance a sealed paladin. This is actually a great example. So a lot of gear for a paladin rolls with elemental damage. I can't quite remember right now, but like there are a ton of items that has high amount of elemental damage on the weapon itself. Now, that elemental damage is fine. It's gonna kill physical immunes. It's gonna boost your normal damage. But the thing is, it's not gonna boost seal damage, which is physical. Seal damage, actually, think I had it open here. Yeah, let's just quickly scroll a little bit up here. So, like, damage type physical. In this game, we have the damage type that is physical. It's not a resist or anything, but it does affect. It is affected from defense, obviously. But elemental damage from a weapon is not gonna help your seal damage if you get that. Like the elemental damage is not gonna get boosted from having more points into seal. I hope that is clear from that little example there. It's definitely a wild, topic, but I always want to make sure that I keep poison damage and cold damage on my character in one way or another, especially for melee builds. Well, only melee builds, I suppose. But yeah, go for a small charm. It doesn't have to be anything great. It just has to be there. A little bit of poison damage, and then try to get cold damage. I have actually for builds that doesn't use a Raven Wing, you should definitely try to get a small charm that has both poison damage and cold damage. Those small charms are hard to get. They are not easy, but they are great for those builds that are not gonna be using Raven Wings. But yeah, before the video gets too long, I hope it wasn't too boring. Obviously, most of this stuff that I just told, I know my viewer base is not noobs or whatever to the game. They're they're hardcore nerds just like myself, I suppose. But yeah, I hope that at least maybe a younger audience or new players to the game might find some use in this. So yeah, hope it wasn't too boring, and see you in the next one.